people were to realize that beforehand, they can prepare themselves and be less fearful of movement during pregnancy because there's tons of, coaches out there that are like, you're going to ruin your core and give yourself diastasis recti if you're, training core during pregnancy. But that's completely false because pregnancy is what gives you diastasis recti, and it's necessary. Oh, you lost your binky. Sorry. It's necessary to grow a watermelon in your abdomen. Obviously, it's a beautiful adaptation that our bodies actually go through.
And it's so interesting to hear you say that because I feel like for a very long period of time, the advice that was being given was, hey, don't train, don't work out, don't lift the weights because it's dangerous or it's bad or whatever that way. When in reality, to your point, I think there's probably more danger to losing muscle strength over a period of 6 to 9 months and then
Yeah,
putting your body through something rather physically demanding than there is to, train maybe with some modifications here and there during that
totally.
time.
And it kind of also depends on someone's risk tolerance. And in order to have tolerance to a risk, you have to know what the risk is and like what that could imply. So, like for example, a lot of people are really fearful of like coning or doming in their core during pregnancy or postpartum. And the reason why those things happen is usually because there's like a pressure, like you're not managing pressure optimally. That being said, you're not necessarily causing damage when those things are happening. And you also have to decide, like, is it worth it for you to potentially be hammering a bad habit or a suboptimal habit, I should say, not bad, a suboptimal habit, or is it more important to you to still be training your core and doing things that you enjoy? Because there is a huge correlation with like postpartum depression being less likely if you are exercising earlier postpartum. Or the opposite can happen where they don't have any objective symptoms whatsoever, but they have subjective, like, feeling of bulging or heaviness, which is super common postpartum. And I remember getting home from the hospital, and I just felt like I had, like, a panic attack when we got home. I think just because it was, like, there's 3 days of, like I think I slept, like, 3 hours in 3 days, and I was just running on adrenaline, and then all of a sudden we got home, and I had Ella, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, I'm supposed to take care of this thing?" So, and I just remember my body feeling like it got hit by a train, essentially. Postpartum, you're essentially just like a burlap sack. Like you're just this like floppy, like gelatinous thing around the core. That's what I felt like. My core felt like jello, literally. And what I tell my clients is like you want to kind of just use those symptoms as your guides. And then I was able to do it with decent core pressure postpartum, which is just for me giving yourself those wins because I felt so not like myself.